You ever feel like time just stops? Like your ears go muffled and all you can hear is your own heartbeat? That's exactly what happened when Tracy from HR slid a paper across her IKEA desk with a tight smile. 60% pay cut, effective immediately. I stared at the number, willing it to change just by looking at it harder. 60 freaking %. I didn't crane it there. I smiled, actually smiled. I'll need 24 hours to consider this, I said, like some polished corporate drone. Like I hadn't just been gutted. The tears came later, in my car. Ugly, heaving sobs, mascara streaked. I sat there for 45 minutes in the parking garage, unraveling. Because how do you process the fact that a company you've poured 9 years of your life into now thinks you're worth barely half of what they paid you yesterday? Sorry should have started with an introduction. I'm Eleanor Reeves, Ellie. 36, single mom to a brilliant 10-year-old, Lucas. And up until that meeting, I was the director of client solutions at Merit Technologies. Even now for years later it's hard to talk about. If you're watching this, could you tap like, or leave a comment? Just tell me where you're from. I need to know I'm not alone in this, that someone else knows what it's like to have your life turned upside down in 15 minutes. Anyway, Merrick. I joined when it was just 20 people in a warehouse startup dreamland. Ping pong tables, happy hours, free snacks, all the stuff that feels exciting until it doesn't. I started as a client manager and climbed the ladder the hard way. Late nights, missed birthdays, skipped vacations. Because when you believe in something, you go all in. And I was good, damn good. Within 3 years, I handled our top 10 accounts, over 70% of our revenue. I knew everything: clients, systems, their pain points, their kids' names. These weren't just clients, they were relationships I built from the ground up. When Lucas's dad walked out, moved to Austin with a yoga instructor named Sky, yes, really those relationships became my lifeline, my safety net. By year 5, I made director, managed a team of 8, got equity. I could finally breathe. I could finally afford to breathe. Then Martech Corporation bought us. I remember the all-hands meeting like it was yesterday. Vernon Chan, our founder, standing on a cafeteria stage, telling us how exciting this new chapter would be. People clapped. I didn't. Vernon couldn't even look us in the eye. Later, I learned he made $3 million from the deal, fully vested. The rest of us, our equity was watered down for more years to vest again if we lasted that long. At first, things didn't seem too bad. New logos, more meetings, but I still had my team, my accounts, my salary. Then came the restructuring. Junior staff went first, then middle management. Each layoff wrapped in corporate jargon, synergies, realignment. One day someone was there, the next, they gone, no goodbyes. I worked harder, my team shrank to 3, but the workload grew. I was clocking 70-hour weeks, answering emails at 3 a.m., having panic attacks in bathroom stalls. Lucas noticed. Why are you always on your laptop? Why don't you come to my games anymore? Why do you look so tired, Mom? Still, I believed I was safe. I managed the accounts that paid the bills. They needed me. Right. Then Tracy from HR sent a meeting invite, just a quick touch base. I should have known. When I walked in, Dennis Porter from corporate was already there. Dennis, with his blinding veneers and conspicuously expensive Rolex. Dennis, the integration expert sent to squeeze blood from every acquired stone. Eleanor, he said, never Ellie, we've reassessed your role and believe it's time to realign your compensation to market standards. Market standards, like I was a line item. Tracy slid over the paper, bold print, $52,000, down from 130 KS. This reflects the evolving nature of your position, Dennis said, like he was offering me a gift. Martech would be centralizing client services. I'd become a regional support rep. Translation. They were taking my clients, my influence, and slashing my pay, but expected me to stick around for the transition. You'll keep your current responsibilities during this phase, Dennis added, like it was reasonable. And we'll need your answer by tomorrow, Tracy said, eyes fixed on her folder. If this doesn't work for you, she added, we understand, but we'll need to move quickly to find someone more aligned. Cheaper, she meant. More desperate. They knew I was a single mom. They knew about Lucas's medications. They knew what my mortgage was. This wasn't an offer, it was an ultimatum. I need 24 hours, I said, voice calm even though I felt like screaming. I'll follow up with questions about reporting lines. I did because I still had pride. Dennis looked pleased. Tracy looked relieved. I hand flipped the desk. I walked out in a fog. Don't remember packing up my laptop. Just remember sitting in my car, numb, wondering how I'd explain to Lucas that we might lose our home. And then my phone rang. Kira-chan, a former colleague who'd left 6 months earlier. I almost let it go to voicemail. But though not, I needed any sliver of normalcy I could get. Hey, stranger, I said, trying to sound like I hadn't just been hit by a train. Ellie, she said urgently, have you checked your LinkedIn? I hadn't. I was too busy trying to hold everything together. I'm at Nexus now, she said. You know they're Martech's biggest competitor. I did. My boss has been asking about you. We need someone with your client experience. Are you open to a conversation? I looked up at the American building. At the cold, corporate logo replacing the one I once believed in. And I thought about Dennis. And his watch. And his teeth. And then I said, yeah, let's talk. I thought about Vernon Chandman, who sold us out and vanished to his Malibu beach house. Actually, I said, tonight's perfect. I drove home in a fog. I wasn't naive. Calling Martech's biggest competitor was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. But they'd already thrown me overboard. What did I owe them? When I got home, I paid the babysitter, peeked in on Lucas already asleep, again and opened my laptop. I spent an hour combing through my original employment contract. No non-compete clause. Merrick had been too small, too optimistic to bother with that back then, and Martech hadn't updated our contracts yet. Their oversight, my opportunity. At 9:30, I called Kira back. Can you set up a meeting with your boss for tomorrow morning for I have to give Martech my answer? Is it that bad? Worse, I said. They're slashing my salary by 60% and expecting me to keep doing everything. Or, actually. She paused, then said, yeah, give me 15 minutes. I'm texting Cameron. Cameron Reed, CEO of Nexus Technologies, Martech's largest competitor and the one company we could never quite shake. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Eleanor, Cameron Reed here? Kira tells me we should talk. His voice was calm, direct, no buzzwords, no corporate spin. Yes, I said, I think we might be able to help each other. I'm guessing Martech is finally doing their post-acquisition purge. Something like that. House 730 A.M., West Side, Cafe, off the radar. Perfect. I hung up and just Saturday there, staring at nothing. Was I really doing this? But it wasn't betrayal, not really. It was survival. I opened my laptop again not to steal anything, just to review my notes. Not company files, but my own records, client quirks, roadblocks, pain points. Who to call when things stalled. Which core OS were unhappy with Martech. Which ones were already looking for alternatives. It wasn't proprietary, but it was powerful, and it was mine. I built these relationships. I kept those clients happy. Tomorrow, I'd find out what that was worth. I checked on Lucas again. His breathing was steady. His inhaler was on the nightstand. His science fair ribbon still pinned proudly to the corkboard. I'm going to fix this, I whispered. I promise. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was scared, but because, for the first time in months, I felt like I was moving. By morning, I was clear. I wore my best suit, the one I saved for closing deals that mattered. Hair polished, makeup sharp, armor on. dropped Lucas at school and kissed his forehead. "You okay, Mom?" he asked, eyes searching mine. "I will be," I said, and I meant it. The Westside Cafe was quiet at 7:30. A few laptops, a few commuter mugs. Cameron was easy to spottle, confident, casually expensive. Kira Saturday beside him and smiled when she saw me. "Eleanor Reeves," Cameron said, standing to shake my hand. "Kira talks about you like you walk on water, and from what I hear, so do half of Markson's clients." I smiled. They might be more open to new conversations these days. He raised an eyebrow. "Well then, Sid, tell me everything." So I did. The acquisition, the layoffs, the culture rot, the 70-hour weeks, the 60% pay cut, the final insult disguised as an opportunity. Cameron didn't interrupt once. When I finished, he looked at Kira, then back at me. "Ellie," he said, "we've been waiting for you to call for a long time." The words hit like a small shockwave. I took a sip of coffee to steady myself. "What does that mean?" He leaned forward. "It means we tried to recruit you 3 times in the last 2 years, but you stayed loyal. Too loyal, if you ask me. Martech doesn't deserve you, and frankly, we're ready to show you exactly how much you're worth." He slid a folder across the table. "Director of Strategic Partnerships, $165,000 base salary, 25% bonus potential, full health coverage including Lucas's prescriptions, stock options, a signing bonus if I could start within 2 weeks." I stared at the number. It was more than I'd ever made. More than 3 times what Martech was offering now. "Why?" I asked, quietly. Cameron didn't blink. "Because we've lost 8 major contracts to Markson over the past 4 years. Every one of them had your name on the account, because when you manage clients, they stay 94% retention. The industry average is 71%, because I've had CordOS tell me you're the reason they stayed." His Saturday back. "You're not just an account lead, Eleanor, you're a strategic asset, and Martech's loss is our opportunity." I felt something shift inside me. Years of being overlooked, talked over, underpaid, overworked. And here was someone who saw me. "There's one more thing," Kira said gently. "Tell her, Cameron." He nodded. "We've heard Martech's plans to outsource all client services overseas within 8 months. These pay cuts, just a way to push people out without paying severance." My stomach flipped. "How do you know that?" "Their new VP did the same thing at Teledini. It's his and all. 8 months. They weren't just cutting my salary. They were cutting me slowly and expecting me to train my replacement first." I closed the folder and nodded. "I need to pick up my son at 3, but I can come by your office now. I'd like to see the team." Cameron smiled. "We'd like that too." 3 hours later, I walked back into what was now Martech Regional Office 8, with a signed offer in my bag and fire in my chest. Dennis Porter was waiting in the conference room, Tracy Saturday beside him, my file already open. "Eleanor," Dennis said, "have you made your decision?" I Saturday down slowly, calmly. "I have a few questions first." Dennis sighed. "We need a yes or no today. As we said, the restructure is company-wide. I understand, but I manage our 10 largest clients. Who's handling the Westfield implementation next month, or the Alder renewal?" "We'll redistribute accordingly," Dennis said. "Not your concern." "It is my concern. Sonia from Westfield was promised my oversight. Mark at Alder specifically asked for me." Dennis' tone sharpened. "Those relationships belong to the company." "Right. And is it true those roles will be outsourced in 8 months?" Silence. Dennis' jaw tightened. Tracy looked away. "Where did you hear that?" "So it's true." "That information is confidential." I nodded. "So, you wanted me to accept a 60% pay cut to stay just long enough to train someone overseas?" "This meeting is about your offer." "Great," I said. "I quit." Dennis blinked. "I'm sorry." "I resign, effective immediately." He smirked. "You're required to give 2 weeks' notice at your level." Check the original Marican contract you never updated. Notice periods match severance, and Marican offered 1 week. His smirk faltered. You'll need to transition your accounts. Nope, I said. Clause 17 PS. If compensation is reduced by more than 15%, transition requirements are waived. I wrote that clause after Trey Miller tried to hold the company hostage. Tracy looked like she wanted to sink into the floor. You can't just walk away, Dennis snapped. Watch me. I stood. One more thing, I added. I've accepted a position at Nexus. You never issued a non-compete. I start Monday. Dennis' face went stone cold. You've just made a serious mistake, he said. If we find even a hint you've been poaching clients. I haven't. I don't need to. The trust I built belongs to me, and I'm taking that with me. I walked out before he could respond. My heart thundered. At my desk, my team was waiting. Maria, Devon, Priya, the last of what had once been 8. They already knew? Of course they did. News travels fast when a company is bleeding out. Is it true? Priya asked. You're leaving. I nodded. What about us? Devon looked panicked. He had a baby on the way. Check your emails in an hour, I said softly. All of you? I packed quickly. Family photos. The ridiculous world's best boss mug my team gave me as a joke 2 Christmases ago. The emergency inhaler I kept for Lucas. 9 years of my life collapsed into one cardboard box. Security escorted me out. Standard policy for high-level departures. They said it like I was suddenly a threat, as if I hadn't bled for this place for nearly a decade. I didn't cry. Not in the elevator, not in the lobby, not in the car. Instead, I pulled out my phone and made 3 calls. First, to Cameron. I quit, I said. They took it about as well as you'd expect. We'll have legal on standby, he said. Don't worry. Second, to Vernon Chen. He answered on the 4th ring, sounding like he was lying on a beach somewhere. Ellie, is everything okay? Not exactly. Martech tried to cut my salary by 60%. I quit and joined Nexus. A long pause. I'm sorry, Ellie. The acquisition wasn't supposed to go like this. But it did, and now they're threatening to sue me for taking a job that pays me what I'm worth. More silence. What do you need from me? Remind them you never implemented non-competes at Marican. You once told us, if we don't treat people well enough to make them want to stay, we deserve to lose them. Vernon sighed. I'll call Gerald Martech myself. This isn't right. Third, I called Sonia Westcourt of Westfield International, our biggest client. Sonia, it's Ellie. Ellie, I was just about to call. You need to move the implementation timeline up to weeks. Bored. Sonia, I cut in gently. I'm no longer with Markson. I left today. Stunned silence. What? Where are you going? Nexus, Camera Reed's company? Another pause. Is this because of the acquisition? We've been concerned. Service has already slipped. It is. They removed me from your account without telling you. They what? They didn't say who's replacing me, just that I wouldn't be involved anymore. You were in our contract. We requested you. I know. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Send me your contact at Nexus. We need to talk. By the time I picked up Lucas from school, my phone was a war zone. 14 texts, 23 emails, 6 were from my team, forwarding messages from Dennis about maintaining continuity and transition planning. 1 was from Vernon, confirming he'd spoken to Gerald directly. The rest were from clients who had already heard I was gone. Mom, Lucas climbed into the car, confused. Why are you picking me up? It's not Friday. I looked at him, a brilliant, serious little boy who'd endured so much more than he should have. I left my job today, I said. His eyes widened. The one you're always working at, the one that makes you cry sometimes when you think I'm asleep. My heart cracked. Of course he knew. Yeah, that one. Good, he said firmly. I didn't like how they treated you. I almost laughed, out of the mouths of babes. I have a new job now, better pay, better insurance for your meds, and more time with you. He nodded. Will you come to my science fair next month? Front row, I promised, with embarrassing signs and everything. He grinned. Cool. At night, after Lucas was asleep, my phone rang. A number I didn't know. Eleanor Reeves, the voice asked. Yes. This is Gerald Martech. I understand, we have a situation. I felt my stomach turn, the CEO of Martech, personally calling me. Mr. Martech, I said, steady. Yes, we do. Vernon Chen called. He's upset about how you were treated. I said nothing. Let him talk. I've also received calls from Sonia West and Mark Chen. They're concerned about your departure and indicated they may reevaluate their vendor relationships. Still, I waited. Are you actively encouraging our clients to follow you to Nexus? No, sir. I've simply let them know I'm no longer with your company. They drew their own conclusions. Dennis Porter tells a different story. Dennis offered me a 60% pay cut, failed to mention my position would be eliminated in 8 months, and then threatened me with litigation. So forgive me if I don't accept his version of events. Silence. That pay cut and the outsourcing plan were not approved by me or the executive team. And yet, they happened. Another pause. What would it take to bring you back? I almost laughed. You're serious? Westfield and Alder are worth over $20 million annually. Losing them could cascade. We've done the math. It would cost us far less to keep you than to lose those accounts. So there it was. I'm only valuable when it costs you not to value me. You hear how that sounds, right? Business is business, Ms. Reeves. No, thank you. I've accepted an offer from Nexus Sony that values me from the start. We're prepared to match their offer, plus a retention bonus. It's not about the money. I suddenly realized I meant it. It's about respect. It's about 9 years you erased with a single meeting, and the only reason you're calling is because it's finally expensive. What do you want, then? I want you to treat the people who are still there better than you treated me. Look at what Dennis Porter is doing. Ask yourself if that's the company you want to build. That's it. That and no lawsuit. I didn't poach anyone. I didn't take anything. I just walked away. A beat of silence. No lawsuit, he said finally, and I'll be visiting the regional office next week to evaluate things personally. 3 days later, I started at Nexus. They gave me an office, a real one. I built my own team. Maria and Devon joined me the next day. Priya stayed. Her visa was tied to her role. 2 weeks later, Dennis Porter was pursuing other opportunities. Tracy from HR, too. A month after that, Sonia called. Westfield was moving to Nexus. The team they sent didn't know what they were doing. When I complained, they told me my expectations were unrealistic. Mark from Alder followed a month later. Then Breerwood, then Ted Rorp. By month 6, 5 of my top 10 clients had come with me. Not because I asked them. Because relationships matter. Because trust matters. Because when you consistently show up for people, they notice when you're gone. Gerald kept his word. No lawsuit. But the markets was better. The outsourcing firm, vendor, salaries, quietly adjusted. Too little, too late for most of us. Now, 4 years later, I'm executive of client success at Nexus. I have a team of 22. I make more money than I ever imagined. But more importantly, I make it home for dinner. I haven't missed a science fair, or a soccer game, or a single bedtime. Last month, I went to the County Conference. He hugged me, said he was proud of me. Leaving Markson, he said, was the best decision you've ever made. It's just business, I told him, echoing Gerald's words. But he told me that wasn't true. Because it's never just business. It's personal, always had been. The real revenge wasn't clients or lawsuits or salaries. It was reclaiming my worth. Saying, no, I deserve better. And then going out and building it. I still think about that moment. Tracy's fake smile, the paper sliding across the desk. They thought they held all the power. They were wrong. We all have power. Sometimes, It takes getting pushed off the ledge to realize you've had wings all along. So if you're stuck in a job that's draining the life out of you, remember this. You're not lucky to be there. They're lucky to have you. And the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting free.